back and ready to roll. It is episode number 62 of the Shutdown Inning Podcast. Steven Risotto here alongside Tyler Hall as always. Tyler, pitchers and catchers reported.
Hey, everybody. We have baseball, Steven. I saw live baseball, Major League Baseball players stretching and throwing pitches, and we are back.
Yeah, the most interesting thing to me is like there's always the term like pitchers and catchers report, and that's the official term, but like most of the position players get there around the same time. Like nowadays, it's really not any type of wait to get the full squad there. So I always think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, everyone just kind of, it's kind of like the first day you can report, and I know a lot of them live down there anyway, in Arizona or Florida respectively, and yeah, might as well get into work, see the guys, and get it going.
Yeah, I am so excited for this season. I think, I've been looking forward to it. Not anything in particular, but just kind of the normal like excitement for baseball season, and also just because that I now that I've been more ingrained in with the Warriors and the 49ers, like it's always good to have something to look forward to. Not that I don't look forward to those. I love covering those teams, but it's always good to have baseball. Baseball is kind of like the safe haven away from all the other crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I think this season I think we can go an episode hopefully without directly referring to it, but we're gonna have, I think there's a lot of reasons baseball fans need to enjoy this season, and it's getting underway now.
Yeah. Did you watch the Super Bowl at all? What did you think?
I did. I mean, it's kind of like I wish both teams could lose. I was kind of hoping the Patriots would win, so the Seahawks didn't win on the Niners turf. But hey, you don't always get what you want. Seahawks were definitely the better team.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a defensive struggle for the New England Patriots and the Seattle's what I mean by that is Seattle's defense is just off the charts, and they definitely played to what they're expected to play to. Anyhow, switching gears to baseball, we mentioned spring training is underway, and there was a big signing right before pitchers and catchers reported, and it was the last big starting pitcher, or there's a few, and we'll get into that later, but Framber Valdez is a Detroit Tiger, 3 years, $115 million. Definitely a deal where a bunch of teams probably said, we could have done that, but he's ending up in Detroit.
Yeah, interesting. So, and then maybe we can just lump all these together since
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the Tigers pitching staff here a bit. They also got Justin Verlander back, and we'll touch on each of these a little bit. But and then Skubal getting a record-breaking $32 million arbitration payout. So yeah, my first reaction was, wow, that's going to be a hell of a 1-2 combination at the top of that rotation with Valdez and Skubal, even if Skubal's probably gone next year. That's going to be scary this year for sure. And then, Verlander was just kind of like that. They already had a strong rotation with those two guys, and Verlander's that nice depth piece. Kind of cool to see that the Hall of Famer go back to where it all started. And also keeping the streak of only playing for teams who wear orange, keeping that going. Um, but yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of teams could have given Valdez 3 for 115, and he's going to Motown.
Yeah, just these high AAV deals, like the shorter term deals, it seems to be the new norm. I don't know if it has anything to do with the CBA, but it seems to be the new norm. We saw Kyle Tucker take a deal that was like that, relative to being a position player. Framber doing the same thing, and this is the best, in my estimation. This might be the best rotation in baseball. Like the Red Sox have a good rotation, but Skubal top heavy, obviously with him. Then you had Valdez in there. Casey Mize is in the mix. Jack Flaherty. Verlander's not a bad back end guy. Like this might be the best rotation in baseball. I know that's kind of saying something off the top of the dome. Again, maybe Boston, they have good depth with Crochet and Ranger Suarez and Sonny Gray, Brian Bayo, a bunch of other guys, Cutter Crawford. But this is honestly this does wonders. These two moves, the Verlander and Valdez move, um, kind of adding on to what they have. They're going for it. Like they're not
Yeah.
wasting. It seems to me they're not wasting this chance to win with Skubal in what might be his last season in Detroit. And by the way, I thought it was weird the arbitration case. Skubal asked for 32 million, and Detroit asked for 19. And literally in the midst of this, they signed Framber for like north of 35 million AAV. So it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Another weird thing was like the Tigers set had pointed out, I think the record previously for arbitration eligible pitcher was like 19.5 million. And it's like, okay, but this guy already has just won back-to-back Cy Young awards for you. You don't think he was even worth the record? Like you couldn't offer him 23 or 24? And this is, going to have ramifications in arbitration hearings for
Oh yeah.
a long time now because the ceiling is now moved up to 32, so where the Tigers kind of trying to get cheap on their guy kind of costs the owners more money down the line across the board.
Yeah, it's hard to get mad at teams for the arbitration they're doing what they have to do. I think we've talked about this before. They're doing what they have to do. It's an ugly process by nature, and people
The
just
thing is,
walk
they
out of
don't
it.
have to. They can reach agreements with their players. They don't have to go to arbitration.
They don't have to go to arbitration, but I'm not expecting them to offer 32 when they were originally offering 19. Like, I mean, it's a crazy offer to lowball the guy like that who's just won two Cy Youngs, but at the same time, I understand that that's like the nature of the beast, you know?
Like yeah, I'm curious like where Skubal would have like agreed. Like if they would have offered him like 26,
Mhm.
so 'cause the Tigers had to go in kind of assuming they were going to lose that hearing. So, go in, offer maybe 26 before you get to the hearing. Does Skubal take that? He's getting 6.5 million more than the previous record for arbitration eligible pitchers. I thought at least not offering over the record was a big misstep there.
Yeah, and there's
Um,
a rumor that like because he's got the two Cy Youngs, I don't know if you ever heard the old tale, and it is an old tale because nobody could confirm it. That Lincecum walked into his arbitration hearing with both of his Cy Young awards. Uh, like I wonder if Scooble, somebody said that he had done that, but I don't actually think they went to a full hearing. So or maybe they did, yeah, because the arbitrator awarded him,
yeah.
yeah. But that would have been a badass move if he had done that.
Yeah. And I think most people assume Scooble was gone after this coming year anyway. But I mean, when you go to arbitration, you're basically pointing out all the reasons why guys aren't worth money. So that probably doesn't make the player feel very good. So I think, that just more writing on the wall that this is the last year for Scooble in Detroit. And then he'll probably make 45 million a year with like the Mets or the Dodgers next year.
Yeah, exactly. Good rotation and uh, JV real Justin Verlander real quick. It was definitely something I'll never forget. Kind of semi being around him last year in the clubhouse, just kind of like taking a few seconds, going, "Wow, it's Justin Verlander," somebody that like one of the few players left from when I first started watching baseball that's still in the game. And I do hope that he gets a few more years to get to 300 wins. And not everybody gets to go back home, and home meaning the first team you start with and the first team you make an impact with. Pujols got to do it in that one year in St. Louis. Verlander doing it here. So honestly, good for him. Cool to see him go back and still effective. This isn't one of those like, uh, you know, go home to finish. This is go home to make an impact. So um, good for him, and yeah, I'm happy to see him go there. And then the other news there in the American League was that the Yankees are signing Paul Goldschmidt. 1 year, $4 million. And Tyler, there was never a time where I ever thought Paul Goldschmidt would get a 1 year, $4 million deal, but he is heading back to the Bronx.
Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt hitting at Yankee Stadium for $4 million is a pretty good deal. He does have some incentives in there for plate appearances. Once he gets up to like the 450, 500, 550, he gets, little bonuses there. But yeah, that 4 million base salary. Yeah, I agree. Never, who would have thought, especially watching him, to call back Tim Lincecum again, you know, after we watched him destroy Lincecum for years and the Giants, and then winning an MVP in St. Louis. Now he's playing first base for the Pinstripes, 4 million bucks.
Yeah, I assume the idea is that he's going to platoon with Ben Rice at first base and he'll just hit against lefties. But yeah, again, good move there. And uh, Goldschmidt now, it's really hard to believe that he's as old as he is. He's 38. I mean, that's I remember when he was first coming up, and here he is crushing the Giants, crushing Tim Lincecum, and here he is. Had a year last year where he hit 10 homers, knocked in 45 runs, and was kind of a league average hitter, but he's back only against lefties, was what I assume that will be. And then the other move that happened was the Orioles upgrading their rotation and signing Chris Bassitt 1 year, 18.5 million. Baltimore trying to get better.
Yeah, they were one of the teams that got kind of called out for not maybe spending as much in the last off season, and they're going for it this year, trying to stay relevant. And that they won 100 just 2 years ago. I think it was 2024. They won 100 games, so trying to bounce back to form there. Adding Alonso as well this off season, making a couple trades. So yeah, you know, you got to kind of keep up. Although, it's kind of funny. The Yankees are kind of rolling back with the same team. They didn't really add much, but the Red Sox have had a busy offseason. The Blue Jays have made some additions. So, Orioles trying to bounce back to that 2024 form. And, Bassett's one of those guys who's going to eat a lot of innings. Some of those will be pretty high quality, some of them not so much, but he's a great, probably, middle of the order arm for them. And he'll give them some innings to fight through that AL East.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. He's going to be there in the middle of the rotation for Baltimore. Um, so those are just a few of the signings, the free agent signings, and we have something cool planned in just a second where we're going to do a free agent draft of the remaining free agents out there. But before we do that, there's some other news that we wanted to talk about. One of them is Netflix, and this could also be a down one of these days, and maybe by the time we get closer. But Netflix is doing opening day between the Giants and the Yankees. It's a Friday late afternoon, early evening game. I believe it's like a five
It's a
o'clock.
Wednesday.
Oh, it's a Wednesday. Okay. Is it a 5 o'clock start though?
I believe so, yeah.
5 o'clock start on Netflix. Yankees Giants at Oracle Park. The first time the Giants have opened at home in a long time, as long as I could remember. And First of all, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because I have some thoughts and some worries, I guess. But when you saw that Netflix was getting that game, what did you think?
I mean, I just in general, I'm not a fan of having to have a streaming service to watch a game, at least your local teams. I
Yeah,
don't want to have
buckle
to
up.
download. Yeah, I don't want to have to download Roku to watch a Giants game. Like, if you want it for the national audience to get more people's eyes on different teams, cool. Um, and just, I mean, there's a couple things that are kind of weird here. Opening night, it's just one game across all of baseball. So it's like, it's kind of opening day, but it's not. It's on Netflix. I know most people probably have a Netflix subscription or at least ways to get into a Netflix account, but um, it takes away some of the luster of traditional opening day for me. Like I said, I have Netflix. I'll be watching because it's the Giants, but I'm not really a big fan of these types of gimmicks that MLB is making, even just more and more popular every year.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of the situation is that it's going to be harder for mom and dad and grandma and grandpa to watch baseball in the coming years. Like that's all there is to it. It already is hard, and it's just going to keep getting worse. Worse, I guess, however you want to characterize it. Worse, more difficult. Either or, but it's difficult. And my reservation of it is, and I'm sure you agree with me on this, is that I like watching the festivities before the game, right? You could always
Yeah.
know that if a game's at 105 pregame on opening day, then you know to tune in like 12:30, and you're going to see the entire, staff, coaching staff introduced and the bench guys introduced and the pregame ceremonies and the moment of silences, and you know that the local broadcast is going to do a good job with that. This, I don't know. Like, what incentive does Netflix have to show the Giants employees and former players that passed away this past year? Like those types of things? And I just,
Yeah.
I have reservations about that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how like the Giants and NBC Sports Bay Area handle it because they're still calling. So the Yankees Giants play Wednesday, then they're off on Thursday, and everyone else plays their first game. And the Giants are still calling that Friday game against the Yankees opening day. I mean, I guess
Mhm.
partially because it's the first day game. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of have like a smaller program for the Netflix opening night and then go full on opening day. Which I know the players probably won't be a fan of because, they end up sitting through two or three opening day ceremonies, most teams in a year anyway, because they have their own at home and they're usually on the road for at least one or two other openers. So doing two in the same series would be pretty, players aren't going to be looking forward to that very much, but I feel like they have to do it for the fans, especially the local fans of these two teams.
Yeah, no, 100%. And of course, I think we might have mentioned it on this show where NBC is getting the Sunday Night Baseball this year, and I think Jason Benetti is going to be the voice of that. And they have a whole studio: Clayton Kershaw, Joey Votto, Anthony Rizzo. Those are going to be the analysts there. And I don't know if you saw, but Ahmed Fareed is going to be the studio host for the NBC baseball coverage. So good to see Ahmed back
Nice.
in a national role. And Netflix kind of has to do the same thing if they're going to get games. And there's a story that came out that Netflix was targeting CC Sabathia, who, of course, I mean, I don't know if you've seen him in interviews and TV. He'd be fantastic. And Barry Bonds as part of their broadcast team. So, I mean, I don't know what capacity he would be in. Um,
I think I saw
if
at least pre and post.
pre and post. I
For,
know on the awful announcing article that I have up right now, it says that Netflix wants him in the booth, but I'm going to read the original article. But I mean, Barry Bonds in broadcasting, Kyler, and you would know better than I, being a fan of him and seeing his career. I did not think that that would ever be, talked about. Barry Bonds behind a microphone
well, yeah, I mean, he didn't necessarily comment on the game, but he was at the Rickwood Field game. And he was really entertaining there. They were asking him like what he would do off like Satchel Paige.
with
Gone,
Griffey.
Jeter, gone.
Yeah.
And so, and I've just seen so many stories, including well, let's cross plug Shea Hillenbrand's episode on the Rizzo cast. Seen some of the clips you've posted recently where he's talked about just how great Barry Bonds is at talking about the game, and so put him in front of a national audience. I think that hopefully would be good for Barry as well to kind of help show some people around the country that are haters that he's a good dude and a good baseball guy. And I'd be interested to see what he has to say. And then, CC, like you said, he's a Bay Area guy too, obviously known for his years with New York. So I'd be really excited to see that combination.
Yeah, no, 100%. Maybe you could pull an A-Rod type of career move. And Sabathia has been on MLB Network before. He's done a podcast, so he's kind of more probably comfortable in that setting. And Netflix is also having Elle Duncan, who is a former ESPN anchor. Elle Duncan is going to be the lead studio host for all of the sports that Netflix does, and I believe she's expected to be the anchor there for the pre and post on opening day in San Francisco. But yeah, I mean Bonds. I mean we'll see. It looks like he would be reading it now on site for the pregame and postgame show, like you mentioned, Tyler. But an agreement is not in place. But I wonder how
Thank you for
much he
double
keeps
checking
up.
my work.
That yeah, of course. I wonder how much he's kept up with like today's game. Obviously, he keeps up with the Giants, but how much does he know about Paul Goldschmidt's numbers against lefties, or does he need to know? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's just Barry Bonds. We're gonna let you loose and just talk and be Barry Bonds. Maybe that's it. So
Yeah, and even not, it's just one game. He can prep for one game and learn some of the Yankees players and what's been going on there. But I bet he keeps an eye on generally what's going on outside of the Bay.
yeah, no, 100%. But I thought that would be a cool story to touch on. And then lastly, and I kind of mentioned this to you, Tyler, that I wanted to touch on. Ron Washington is back in a big league uniform. I think we might have talked about this before. He's 73 going on 74, and there's an article that is one of the best articles I've read of the very young 2026 season that was great by Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. And basically talked about Ron Washington settling in with the new team. He gets there before everybody with the new Giants third base coach Hector Borg, I believe his name is. And basically they get there at like 4:30, 5 a.m. and Ron Washington does a workout. He's coming off quadruple bypass surgery. And the Giants basically said that he's going to travel with the team, but Buster Posey said they're going to keep a close eye on him. and he can't really get down as much as he used to, but he's still instructing at a high level. But I just thought it was cool to see Ron Washington back in a big league uniform and doing his thing because he is the definition of a baseball lifer, and if coaches were able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, he would certainly be in.
Yeah, and he's managed a bit. Maybe he'll sneak in someday. No, probably not. But yeah, I did see some video of him already. I think it might have been Pavs who posted it, working with like Luis Ariz at second base. Obviously, that's a whole nother topic that we're not diving into this episode. But um, you know, like you said, it's great to see him around. I'm excited to see him in the Giants uniform and see him, on the broadcast and in the ballpark when I'm there. And you don't find many people that have a bad thing to say about Ron Washington at the baseball field. So, if it's what he wants to do and he's happy and it's his health, so if he feels comfortable and healthy enough to get out there, then I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, no, good for him. Really cool that they're going to be able to work with him, and his work is just, from Eric Chavez to Marcus Simeon in Oakland and Austin Riley in Atlanta. He's done it. He's got a lot to show for it, and he's going to have his hands full with Luis Ariz and Bryce Eldridge and those guys. So it'll be cool to see him there. All right. We kind of teased a few episodes ago about doing more like top 10 lists and drafts, and we kind of came up with one here. Every year, there seems to be kind of a free agents available when camp breaks that are still out there and who are still guys that can make a difference on a team. And Tyler and I figured that we would do kind of a draft of who would just some field a team of the remaining free agents, I guess. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and
We're gonna
like going through this exercise, Stephen, I just want to say a lot of people
yeah,
complained about how slow the off season is and how there's guys out there. You know, I think when we go through this draft, there's some good ball players on here for sure, but the pickings are a little slim out there, to be honest, for difference makers. And so that means most of the difference makers are signed before spring training. That's all we really need. We just need them in camp. So, yeah, it takes a while, but all the big names are signed up pretty much. Maybe one or two exceptions to that.
absolutely. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna do three starting pitchers, and then we're going to do um, nine position players, counting a DH, and then one relief pitcher. Okay, so that's how we're gonna do it. As I'm
I
gonna
think
get
we'll
my
snake it.
We'll snake it. So we're gonna figure out who has the first pick here. I have a random number generator pulled up. So do you want to be one or two?
I'll be two.
Okay, I'll be one. So I'm gonna click this three times. Okay. So wait, so I'm one and you're two?
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
One, two, three. So I get first pick, I'm one.
Whatever.
Okay, so we're gonna
All right.
snake this. So is it gonna be like we should have talked this out before? We didn't. So I'm just gonna have two picks and then you have two
No,
picks and
you're
then
gonna have one, and then I get two. You don't get two to open it. You get the first, I get the second. Then second round, I get the first pick, you get the second. So you get one pick right now.
okay, I'm trying to sabotage here. All right. With the
Yeah,
first
well, I
pick,
have the first pick, so I get two, right?
all right, stop bullying me. With the first pick, I'm gonna go with free agent starter Zach Gallen.
Ah, you
Zach
dick.
Gallen is out there. He is certainly going to help a major league rotation, and I don't know why he's still out there. So he is my first selection.
Yeah, he's kind of the main. I like when I said there's not many difference makers out there. I don't know if Gallen's a difference maker, but he's definitely I feel like the best free agent out there for sure. Um, I will go with Lucas Giolito
Ooh, good. That's a good
with
one.
my first pick. And with my second pick, I'm just going to go pitching heavy before you take them all. I'll take Zach Littell,
Okay, former Giant, who had that
former
incident
Giant.
with Gabe Kapler. Um,
Has been really strong the last couple of years.
just
So,
so you know, Littell would have been my next pick. So you could have
gotcha.
some, yeah, you could have some fun knowing that you stole one from me. All right, I'll stick with the pitching. This guy always just seems to like come through and eat up innings. I'll go with Patrick Corbin. He's going to be my
Okay.
my number two behind Zach Gallen.
All right. And who's your third pick?
And then my next pick, just because I like him, I'm gonna go with an outfielder here, and I'll put him in the outfield just because I like him. Andrew McCutchen. He's still out there.
Okay. Yeah, he is. I thought I had him down as who I was hoping to get for my DH.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, I'll go outfield too, I guess. I will go with Mike Tauchman.
Former
Was
Giant
he
again.
was he coming up on your list at all,
He
or did I
was.
waste a pick? All
Yeah.
right.
He's one of the few outfielders out there still that like actually would be kind of a net positive, I think.
Yeah. Um, man, some of these positions, dude, are just no bueno. I'll take Luis Urias.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll figure out what infield position I'm putting him in once I see the rest of my team.
Do you mean Ramon Urias?
No, Luis is out there too, right? Or
Wait.
wait, 1 second.
Maybe I have no, you know what? I have it wrong, I think. No, yeah, Ramon. Wait. We
They're
might have to
both
cut.
out there. They're both out there.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
Luis. So
take.
go.
Sorry, I'll. Yeah, I already said Luis, so I'll take Luis. Go
Okay.
for it.
Okay. Um, Ramon, I got my eye on you. All right, let's go with first baseman. Nathaniel Lowe had 18 homers last year, and nobody really batted, no pun intended, batted an eye. So I'll go with him at first base. Nate.
Okay.
And then just to kind of round out my rotation, I like the upside here because I've always thought he might have won a Cy Young one day. Walker Bueller is still out
Oh,
there.
sneaky. Like it. Okay. So then I will take. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go Urias strong here. I'm gonna go Ramon Urias now.
So you got your infield set. What positions do you have now?
I mean, Ramon basically plays anywhere besides first on the infield, and so does Luis. So I can kind of play with this a little bit and figure out which other position. But those two guys are going to be either somewhere between second, short, and third.
I gotcha. All right. Um.
Wait.
Oh
It's
yeah,
my
it is
my
you.
pick again.
Sorry.
You are
I'm.
just trying to sabotage me left and right, my dude.
Yeah.
Um, And then I'm gonna take a flyer. I'm gonna pick up DJ LeMahieu, kind of another guy I can move all around. I don't think he's officially retired yet, has he? He's just looking for a home.
I don't think so. I didn't even have
He
him on
cannot.
my draft board though.
Oh, thanks. Well, now you don't even have to worry about him, dude. All
No, I
right,
don't.
over to Mr. Risotto.
Okay. I need an infielder. I need a middle infielder. And I thought he had a really good year last year. So I'm gonna go with utility guy, Adam Frazier, who
Okay.
always seemingly has pops up every now and then at the trade deadline. And
Well, we always.
then my next selection, I'll take a flyer on my second outfielder. And I'll go with Michael Conforto, who played for the world champion Dodgers, was not good in any capacity at all, but could add some stability in a lineup, possibly. So I'll go with Conforto.
Okay. Let me see here. Trying to do some quick little research to make sure I'm not ruining my fake baseball team here. Um, Actually, before you take him for DH, I know you already have a first baseman, so I wasn't too worried about it, but I know you still have your DH open, so I'm going to take Reese Hoskins,
Oh,
Sac State's finest. Stingers up for our NorCal listeners. And then I believe he might be suspended, but I'm going to take Max Kepler. In our
yeah.
make-believe land, he's able to play, so I'm taking Kepler.
Good pick. Good pick. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna go with a guy who we're gonna talk about in just a bit, but I'll go with Nick Castellanos. You know, we need a good time in the dugout sometimes, and we need some good lively fun. And I need Nick Castellanos to be hammered in the dugout. So he's gonna be my third outfielder.
The
Um,
beer was never opened, sir.
Yeah, never open. It was a prop, according to that
I was gonna
article.
take him as my DH, so you suck. But anyway, your pick.
All right, and then my next guy, I do have DH still open. All my outfield is gone.
Oh,
My
you're gonna
DH,
put Castellanos in the outfield? You
I'll
are
put him in
brave.
the outfield because I'll put as my DH none other than Wilmer Flores because I like him.
I'll be there for
Yeah, I'll take
you.
Wilmer.
All right. Um, so I'm gonna take my reliever. I'm gonna take Michael Kopech.
Oh,
I might
yeah, that was my number one option because there's literally nobody else I could think of.
very few out there. So I'll take him, and then I guess I need a catcher and a starter and a DH still, and you don't need any more starters. So I'm gonna save that for the end, my friend. I'll take Christian Vasquez behind the dish.
Okay, that's a good pick. I had him as a catching option, obviously. Okay. I just thought of an outfielder. I don't know if you need. I just thought I'll tell you at the end, but I thought of an outfielder that honestly would fit the mold of my roster, and I'll tell you why when we're done.
He's an alcoholic.
No. Well, but all right. I'm going to go here with a catcher as well. Actually, you just picked a catcher, so I'll save the catcher. And I need a middle infielder. I'll go with my shortstop being another old Giant friend, Tyro Estrada. How about that?
I had him on the list. Very good.
Didn't do much with Colorado last year, but yeah,
Okay. Was that your second pick?
that was my first. Wait, I picked Wilmer, and then I picked. This is going well. Uh,
So it's my pick. That's what we're saying.
I believe it's your pick. Yeah,
All right. So I need,
because I have three left.
okay, so do I. So I will, man, outfield is not too strong right now, man. Um, Let me see. This is great listening for the audience. I will take, I'm going to take Starling Marte. Maybe he's got something left in the tank. We'll plug him in the outfield too, see what he's got cooking. And then I need a DH. Let's see. I know you probably got some great pick ready to go. Um, I don't know. He had a couple good years recently. I won't need to worry about him playing the field. I'll take Ty France to DH.
Okay. Yeah, I would have liked to have Ty France, but I didn't have any spots for him. Um, that's good. Okay, I need a third baseman, a catcher, and a relief pitcher. I'll go with the third baseman. And this was literally the only third baseman I could find. John Birdie, the former Miami Marlin. So
Okay.
Birdie will be my third baseman, and then I'll just go ahead and pick my reliever. Um, the lefty Jalen Beeks, who I believe was a one-time um, Tampa Bay Ray. So I'll go with Jalen Beeks. Last year he pitched with the Arizona Diamondbacks and appeared in 61 games. So he'll be my reliever.
Okay. Um, all right. So I just need a starter to close this out. I know he's not planning on signing till late in the year. I'm gonna take Max Scherzer. I need a Hall of Fame All-Star presence in my clubhouse, Steven. So I'm gonna take Max Scherzer to round out my roster.
I'm shocked one of us didn't take him.
I
Um,
just did.
yeah. So stupid. Okay, my last my last one, my catcher, he was with the Mariners last year, Mitch Garver. So he'll be my catcher. And now I'll tell you the guy that I didn't have room for, but he fit my team perfectly. Tommy Pham is out there, Tyler.
He is.
Yeah, Tommy Pham is out there. And I figured that him and Castellanos, like there would just be such a good team. And then then it would be awkward because then you would have on the other side of the clubhouse like Wilmer and Tyro Estrada, who are like the nice guys, and
Yeah.
McCutcheon. It would be a very divided clubhouse.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think we can like review our teams first, but like Are there any names on your list that like are still out there that you're like, they're good players and they didn't land on one of our two squads? Anyone that jumps out at you, maybe on your board?
I mentioned Pham. Griffin Canning is a starting pitcher that's out there. Randall Grichuk in the outfield. I'll give you one name in particular that I really wanted to fit in, and that's who we saw last year with the Giants, Dom Smith. And
Yeah.
maybe in a different world, I would have put him over Wilmer at DH.
Yeah, or if we're drafting like and we needed a bench too, I think Dom's definitely landing on one of our squads. Yeah, you mentioned Gerchik. I had him on my list. I had Canning. Nestor Cortez is out there
Mm.
potentially. I think Frankie Montas might be as well. And then we talked about how picking is slim for the pen. So I had a couple names jotted down, but no one where I'm like, oh man, they're still out there.
Andrew Chafin, was he on there? He was a lefty that I
He was
saw.
on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a ton of infielders, to be honest with you. John
No.
Birdie at third base was a big reach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Luis Rengifo signed right before we did this podcast, and I told Tyler before, and we both went, ah.
And then I had told you about Shelby Miller.
And I was like, ah. And another
Yeah.
one that signed early this morning, I don't know if you had him on your list, but I was going to pick him at some point because of his versatility. Chris Taylor signed somewhere.
Oh,
Um,
really? Where'd he go?
he went to lack of preparation, Steven Risotto. He went to the Angels. So he was there last
Staying
year.
in Orange County.
Staying in
Yeah.
Orange County. Yeah, he was there last year towards the end. I just, I, I, I would have thought that he was still a Dodger. Actually, he just seems like one of
Yeah.
those guys that never leaves, like Kike
Yeah.
Hernandez. All right, well that was fun. We should do
So
more of that.
give us your lineup, not necessarily in order. Just go down like catcher first, second, third.
All
We
right,
don't have
so
to
we
have like a
got
batting order.
Mitch Garver behind the plate, Nathaniel Lowe at first base, Adam Frazier at second base, John Birdie at third, Tyro Estrada the shortstop. My three outfielders are Andrew McCutchen, Nick Castellanos, and Michael Conforto. My three starting pitchers are Zach Gallen, Patrick Corbin, and Walker Bueller. I forgot my DH is Wilmer Flores, and my relief pitcher is Jalen Beeks.
All right. And then so my DH is Ty France. My catcher is Christian Vasquez. My first baseman is Reese Hoskins. Stingers up. My second base, I'd probably throw LeMahieu at second, just so he had less to worry about on the field. The two Uriases would be the left side of my infield. I'd have to look at which one would be more suited for second or for short and third, but they would be the left side of my infield. Outfield, I've got Mike Talkman, Starling Marte, and Max Kepler. Starting pitchers, Zach Littell, Max Scherzer, Lucas Giolito, and then Kopech in the pen.
Yeah, maybe I could do a little reel on this on Instagram of us going like back and forth. I could like be creative with it. That would be cool.
Yeah, we can put up a poll, like whose team would win.
Yeah, I'll make a graphic of our teams side by side. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not going to like my Michael Conforto because he's pretty hated in these parts.
I hope you lose just because of that alone. But you do make up for it with the Wilmer pick. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
you're keeping
Yeah.
people happy.
I like how I was like, I'll just take him, Nick Castellanos, and then you're like, yeah, he was on my board too.
Yeah, I mean I was gonna pick him as my DH after you took McCutcheon.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Well, let's get to three up, three downs. And speaking of the devil, we'll start with him. Nick Castellanos. The reason we're kind of joking around about him is because he had the biggest baseball news of the week, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, check your
Basically,
family members.
yeah,
Make sure everyone's
basically,
safe.
some background on him. Like the Phillies have been trying to get rid of him all off season. Like they're nobody would want to trade for him. Uh, they finally released him, but there was an article that dropped in the Athletic. I believe I think basically what happened is Matt Gelb, the writer that wrote it, who covers the Phillies, reached out to the Phillies for comment on a story that he was working on, and then the Phillies declined the comment, and then 5 minutes later they released him. So I think they knew what was about to happen. But basically, there's a game in June. I want to say in Tampa Bay or somewhere, Pittsburgh. I somewhere.
It was somewhere.
It was somewhere, correct. Where Nick Castellanos was taken out of the game by Rob Thompson for defensive purposes, which is something that was normally done. And to prove a point, he grabbed a beer out of the clubhouse and walked up with it and was basically using the beer as a prop, pretending like he was drinking in the dugout, um, and started yelling at Thompson and made a big scene and showed up the hell out of his manager and Kyle Schwarber and company. And they all, JT Realmuto, they all kind of like, escorted him down out of the dugout. Um, but just an interesting. It was also written in that article that he was universally like it was fun to like dislike him as a teammate. For people, I remember we heard that about Angel Pagan, with the
Hmm.
Giants, where like they all just like had fun disliking him. That seemed to be the case with Castellanos, but not a good scene for him. Not a good scene for future prospects for him. But yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, I get being upset that you're pulled from a game. I mean, these guys are competitive professional athletes, but I mean, Nick Castellanos, I mean, I don't think he's ever really been a great outfielder, but he wasn't even that great offensively for the last couple of years either. So, you know, can't blame Thompson for pulling the guy. And,
Yeah.
maybe it was just the boiling point for Castellanos. I know it was kind of ruined the relationship after that and never kind of was never able to recover in Philly. And so now I'm sure he'll wind up somewhere because they'll just have to pay him the league minimum. The Phillies will foot the rest of the bill.
Yeah, no, $20 million dollars. This is the final year of his deal, so he'll get that $20 million dollars. He could sign anywhere now for league minimum, basically. But and then he
That's
posted
got
a
to be
hand
a tough pill to swallow, saying like we'd rather pay you $20 million to go away.
to go away, exactly. And he posted a handwritten note on social media, and then it happened in Miami, by the way. But the top of the note said Miami incident. So he wrote out this thing and basically said he brought a Presidente in the dugout. And then I sat next to Rob and let him know that too much slack in some areas and too tight of restrictions in others was not conducive in us winning. And then he went into the office with Thompson and Dave Dombrowski, and then basically had an incident there. So not a good look for him. Um,
Yeah.
but he is my first down. My second down is the amount of hamate injuries that are happening. Hamate bone injuries that are happening. There have been injuries to Jackson Holliday, Corbin Carroll, who is now out of the WBC because of it, and Francisco Lindor, who I believe was not going to play regardless, just because insurance reasons, but he's going to be out to start. Probably won't be ready for opening day. But the hamate bone, for those that don't know, it's kind of like right where the knob of your bat sits, and hitting a baseball could break it. Like if you're not, I don't know how it would break, but a vibration of it, I don't know exactly how it works, but they have broken hamate bones.
Yeah, it's tough. Usually it's like pitchers' arms having issues in spring training or something. It's odd to see, it's not a rare injury, but three injuries of kind of the same injury on three all-stars, wiping them out for probably depending on when they actually injured it. Some of these guys probably won't be ready for opening day, which is a bummer for these clubs. I remember Pablo Sandoval for the Giants fans out there. He had a similar injury a few years back. I want to say there was one more recently too on the Giants, but it's one of those ones where it might take a while just to feel comfortable again. Because like you mentioned, that's where the knob of the bat sits in their hand when they're hitting. So hopefully they can, when they do come back, they can come back strong and keep it out of their mind and just get back to playing baseball. But yeah, kind of an odd injury to be uh, widespread in spring training.
Yeah, definitely an eye injury. We'll see if that means Bo Bichette will move over to short or maybe not. I don't know how that will work. We'll see what the Mets choose to do. And then my other down, my last down, uh, the Hunter Wendelstad, or maybe it was Hunter's dad, who what was his name? Uh, uh, the and anyways, we'll get that name. The this is this is horrible. This is awful.
It's
Uh,
okay. I remember my first podcast. I think you're
the
thinking of Harry
Harvey,
Wendelstead.
Harry, sorry, Harry, the Harry Wendelstad School of Umpiring is closing. And this is abrupt. There's a school that was in Ormond Beach, Florida. And it basically was an umpiring school. A lot of umpires got certificates, graduated. I believe those certificates were recognized by Major League Baseball as being legitimate. Well, that umpire school is closing, and I believe it has done its last class. A lot of alumni who are currently big league umpires have come from there. There's current MLB umpires that teach there, and it's closing just because the new technology implemented by Major League Baseball, the Wendelstad Academy, does not have access to that, and they can't teach a lot of the stuff that's going in the game today. So, kind of an interesting story there, sort of.
Yeah, I think it's kind of strange if, so many ties to Major League Baseball that they couldn't help them get access to some of the technology they will be using. That's kind of a bummer. And I know we have a friend, Steven Ruderman, who went down there and spoke very highly of his experience. So shout out to Steven Ruderman. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I've never really looked into becoming an umpire. I don't know what the other avenues will be. I'm sure there's other ways to get through the ranks and get your trainings, but this was probably one of the more well-known places to do that, and now that will no longer exist.
Yeah, not existing anymore. So those are my downs. Sorry to Harry Wendelstead, not Harvey and not Hunter's dad, but I knew there was a dad Wendelstead. Hunter is still in the
Yeah,
game.
from one hunter's dad to another, I'll go to the ups now. First one I'm going to do that. I don't know if you've seen this, Stephen. They're putting in what they're calling a pitch tipping rule. Have you heard about this?
I have not actually.
They're basically they've noticed that first and third base coaches like to move around a lot before a pitch is delivered, and they've thought that that might be a way of relaying pitches to a hitter. They can kind of move down the line and get a different view of the pitcher, where they might get a read of a different glove movement or how they're gripping the ball, and either relay that right to the hitter, or if they have a runner on second, kind of relay it to him so that the runner on second can do that. So they're actually, for years, it's just been paint on the field. They're actually making the first and third base coaches stay in the coaches' boxes until the pitch is delivered. Then they can move around, but they have to stay in the box.
So I did see this, but I just saw the headline and it said something about staying in the box, but I didn't realize that it was for pitch tipping. So that is very interesting. Me not practicing what I preach in terms of reading journalism and just looking at the headline. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it is done. Uh, but also like I remember it being done to remind that, like in high school, I remember one of our coaches would stand like further back if you wanted us to bunt. Because every team that I've been on, we've just been horrible at reading signs and being able to understand like where the indicator is and all that stuff. So it's like, all right, to make it easy, like I'll just do this with my hands or stand back here. So like that was to benefit the hitter, just reminding the hitter on what to do. But this, I guess, is to help to stop helping the hitter for pitch tipping. I mean, I think it will be a marginal change. There's still people in the dugout that pick up on stuff. There's still great players that will always pick up on stuff on what a pitcher's doing. So you're never going to get rid of it completely. Guys have tipped their hand. Pitchers have tipped their hands for 100 years, and it's not going to go away just because of where the coach is standing.
Yeah, it's not going to go away, but I also, it will limit it. It will limit the capabilities of the offense to do so. And, they have coaches' boxes on out there for a reason, so it makes sense.
Yeah, can I just say real quick, I've never understood the coach boxes. Like every time I would watch a game as a kid, I'd be like, isn't he supposed to be standing there? And I never see them stand there. Like it's like
Yeah.
I thought they were not supposed to leave there, and we got Tim Flannery running down the line.
I feel like Tim Flannery would have lost his mind if he had to just stay in the box. But once the pitch is released, once the delivery is gone, they can move. So he could still run down the third baseline with Angel Pagan if he wanted to. Look at
Yeah.
that, two Angel Pagan references in one episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not in love with it, but I think it's good that they're kind of taking some steps to, cheating has always been kind of a thing in baseball, and it never goes away. The Astros deal, so many other scandals. So let's just try to limit as much as we can. And it's not like they're inventing the coaches' boxes to do this. It's already on the field. So I'm down with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Ditto.
Uh, Number two, going back to the Super Bowl, we talked about the game earlier, but not really the halftime show. And Bad Bunny, hell of a performance. I've never enjoyed a performance that I don't understand as much as I enjoyed that. Very awesome halftime show. I don't know what your thoughts were, Steven.
Loved it. Loved every second of it. Same thing. Didn't understand any of it, but it was good.
And
It was
there
the
was
whole.
there was a baseball tie-in too. Ronald Acuna Jr. was out there with him.
He was there. Yeah. Jessica Alba was there too.
Yeah,
Cardi
Cardi
B.
B. Yeah. So the up here is not that, but Bad Bunny's halftime performance, though. It is that we talked about it. I forget if it was the last episode or the episode before, that Carlos Correa, as well as Jose Altuve, but Carlos Correa, who's from Bad Bunny's home of Puerto Rico, was not going to be in the World Baseball Classic because of insurance concerns. Bad Bunny offered, which it didn't end up happening, but Bad Bunny offered to pay the insurance for Carlos Correa to represent Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, very awesome. And obviously, I'm sure we could definitely see the reasons why that would not be allowed, but definitely a cool sentiment. And I think Scott Boras basically told Correa, like, hey, this is nice, but like extremely dangerous too. Like you could be throwing your
Yeah,
life away here. But
yeah,
yeah, no, cool. And it seems like Bad Bunny, we always like to find tie-ins with like other like outside of baseball, and it seems like there's a tie-in that Bad Bunny is a big baseball fan, and he's done stuff like this in the past. I know he played in the celebrity softball game a few years back, but um I gotta look to see what it was, but there is evidence that Bad Bunny like actually is a pretty big baseball fan. So
yeah. And it also came out after the Super Bowl that he's a 49ers fan.
hey, look at that. So yeah,
So
no, he did a heck of a job, and it's not easy when you're under that much scrutiny to put on a good show like that, and he put on a great show. And I thought it was a good
yeah,
representation of not just things that are happening, but also uh what America should look like. So it was very cool, very nice.
yeah, absolutely. And my third up was going to be along the World Baseball Classic lines that we are less than 3 weeks away from the World Baseball Classic. So that's kind of a little one-off from this one because Mr. Steven Risotto pointed out an up to me that I had to include. So up number three, a giveaway from the Texas Rangers this year. You've all probably seen the photo of Nolan Ryan with some blood on his jersey. I think it was from a comebacker that caught him and he had blood all over his jersey. The Texas Rangers are giving away like basically a jersey of Nolan Ryan's jersey with like a replica of the blood stains on the front of the jersey. And, it's such an iconic baseball photo. I've seen it, all over the place ever since it happened 35 years ago. And that's a pretty awesome, throwback, pretty awesome giveaway. Just all around. Love it.
Yeah, no, this is really cool, and it's like this is like what needs to happen for giveaways. Like the creativity of giveaways will never go away just because so many things happen in baseball that like you'll never run out of ideas. And this is one of those instances where it's an iconic image of just Nolan Ryan bleeding on the mound. And it's funny because when I first saw that picture, I thought it was after the Robin Ventura fight. I'm like, oh, he like Robin Ventura, like
Yeah.
maybe somebody else got him or scraped him. But no, it was a completely separate incident. So I'm sure there's people out there that thought the same thing, but um
Yeah, it was in a very similar time. I don't know if it was the same year, but it was within a year or two of each other, if I recall right.
yeah, no, 100%. But
But
uh it was
it's
cool.
funny you bring up Ventura. I thought about like next year the Rangers can do a dual bobblehead of Nolan Ryan bobblehead putting a Robin Ventura bobblehead in a headlock.
Yeah. That would
The
be good.
Giants did like the Buster Hugs one a few years ago, where it's like a Brian Wilson and a Buster Posey, and they kind of fit right together to show them hugging with the bobbleheads. We need a Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. They can do it when the White Sox are in town.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
No, it's funny because I was on Radio Row for Super Bowl week, and we had I was producing, and we had Bo Jackson on the show, and Bo Jackson was with the White Sox when that happened, and Joe Shasky asked Bo Jackson, "Oh, Nolan Ryan, like, what was that moment like?" And he basically said, like, yeah, he kept on going, like that was not a fight. He was like, that was not a fight, that was like a beat down. So Yeah,
And like
Robin
the craziest thing,
Ventura.
I'd have to go back and look, but I think like Ryan was in his 40s and like
Yeah.
Ventura was in his like low 20s. He was like very new to the league. And so like a guy like old enough to be his dad just beating his ass on
Yeah,
the
the best part is too is like I've never seen an instance where a guy took off his helmet, walked 3 steps, and visibly looked like he shouldn't have done it. Like
yeah.
visibly like regretted it. Like just he
Yeah.
walked out and then
He
like
knew mistakes were being made
yeah,
real time.
that doesn't get talked about enough. It does get talked about a lot, but not even enough. That's such a
Yeah.
classic. Uh,
Uh, but yeah,
anyways,
final up, Nolan Ryan blood jersey giveaway.
good stuff there, and we shut it down again. That one of the most iconic That's another a next draft that we have to do. Iconic moments in baseball. How about that? Um,
Okay.
yeah, something like that. We'll put that on the back burner. But I think we shut it down again. This was a good show.
It is shut down. I had a great time. I think it was fun to throw the draft in there for something different. Maybe we can get one or two more different things in before we hit the regular season, and it's
Yeah.
tougher to do stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe the Hall of Fame. Players not in the Hall of Fame. We've talked about that one. A
Yeah.
few other
Any good
things.
ideas, throw it out to us.
Exactly. Throw it out to us, and we'll definitely try and do more before opening day. So we'll see you when the All-Star game's announced. No, our favorite joke. I've been
Um,
better. Okay.
yeah, we're getting there. We're getting a little more consistent, Stephen.
Yeah.
We're it's our spring training too, you know?
Yeah. You got me like on a leash, like a harness. Whoa. Uh, thank,
Hey,
thank you for listening, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter at shutdown_inning. Go check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. And this is Steve Risotto along Tyler Hall, and we will see you next time.
that's what's up.
Bye.